First, I want to say hello to all the ladies and gentlemen that we are here. I am Fabrice Nectou, and I am the sales manager of Avanteam. And I'm very happy to share with you the great project, KFC Western Europe project. This project has been done with the main project manager. We have, first of all, Michelle Stapleton, based in London. Hi, Michelle.
Good morning.
Michelle Stapleton is a QA category lead at KFC, and she has managed the project with Emma Galais from KFC France. You are a key QA manager?
QA manager.
That's nice. And for doing and managing this project, one of our famous project manager, Rémi Zilazny.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hello.
Some French, it's too bad.
Hi, Michel.
So now you will know all of them. We are going to present you that you can see on the slide the project names Click&Complain. So Michelle, feel free to start.
Great, thank you, Fabrice. So good morning, everyone from London. So as Fabrice said, I'm Michelle Stapleton, based in the KFC UK office, and Emma based in KFC France. And we form part of the KFC Western Europe market. I will come on to that in a little bit to give you some background. The KFC Western Europe team comprises of procurement function, food safety and quality function, and supply chain function. And Emma and I are part of the food safety and quality team, and our main responsibilities is to look after food safety, quality and complaint management across all of our Western European countries. Emma and I have both been with KFC for 7 and 6 years respectively. So before we go into Click&Complain, I just would like to give you a brief overview of Western Europe. So you will be able to see we are managing out of 6 business markets. And what that means is 6 markets that will have a restaurant support center or a HQ. In total, it comprises of 14 countries. So you can see on the map, we have Ireland, UK, Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal. We have over 1,800 restaurants, and our cost of goods per annum is over 350 million euros. We have 22 distribution centers who service all our restaurants, and we deliver over 7,000 deliveries per week per store. We have over 200 suppliers and 330 production plants, and in total of over 550 products within our portfolio. So why did we want to build a best-in-class complaint system? As I said, the Western Europe team is a regional team looking after multiple countries in multiple markets. And the difference was in each country was a different complaint management system. So we wanted to build and partner with Avanteam to build one system that was applicable for all countries in all of their markets and all of the satellite markets which we manage, so that we had one overview, one system, and everyone in those countries was able to manage it in the same way. So first, we looked at our challenges. So the challenges we had with managing such a vast number of countries and different languages with different numbers of restaurants and different way of managing was they were managed by different systems, emails, offline communications, limited governance, and a limited reporting capability, meaning we had no visibility on our food and non-food complaints that our restaurants were making, due to the different systems that were being used in the 14 different countries. Some of the systems that were in place were not very effective, which meant that there was no motivation for our restaurant teams to make complaints on their current systems, which they had previously had. Because of the different systems, we had no visibility of the status of a complaint that was being made, where it was in the system, or the history of any traceability of any complaints that we could go back and have a look on. And again, as I said, we had no one system approach across the 6 markets and the 14 different countries that we manage. So our vision was to design and implement a system that will operationally step change and bring ease in our 1,800 plus restaurants. The vision was to increase our visibility, reporting, and our supplier accountability that would really help to drive product quality ownership and ultimately our consumer satisfaction. The system outputs that we wanted for this best-in-class complaint system that we built was to have pre-populated data to ease restaurant management time and eliminate manual errors from data entry where they would have had to input data by themselves without having pre-populated fields. And this was something that caused us quite some difficulty in the past. We also wanted to have a closed loop process, giving restaurant feedback and resolution of confirmation for their complaints. So when I say closed loop process, I mean the restaurant was able to have visibility from the moment that they made the complaint until the end when they closed the complaint, and the whole way throughout the status and the progress. We also wanted a one system real-time dashboard, which could be managed by multiple stakeholders. And those stakeholders, Emma will go into it in a bit more detail, but we had a vast number of stakeholders, such as restaurant managers, QA managers, local QA managers within those countries, distributors and suppliers, and then of course our restaurant managers and staff as well. We also wanted to build a digitally integrated mobile application so that the restaurants had both a desktop PC version and a mobile version. And then one of the really important outputs that we wanted was an instant alert built in for critical complaints that required immediate action out of office hours and at weekends. So the business benefits to developing this best-in-class complaint management system was to ultimately drive restaurant ease in our restaurants, make the operations of making a complaint much easier, giving confidence and transparency to us, the QA team, our procurement team, but also our restaurant and distributors. Our best-in-class system would allow restaurants to make a complaint in a very efficient way. And one of the key benefits, and this is something that has worked really well with us, is that the product issue is fed back to our suppliers directly. We have cut out the middleman of having to manage that, and the instant alerts go directly to our suppliers. The mobile app allows an additional channel to open a complaint and real-time access with real-time dashboards. We have one system that houses all our complaints across 14 countries, soon to be 14 countries, creating supply chain efficiencies across all suppliers, all restaurants, and all the QA teams. And then finally, we have one system that facilitates continuous improvement and product performance that we as the QA team can manage with our supply partners for now and for the future. So now I will hand back to Emma, who will take you through our system, which is called Click&Complain. Emma, over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Mouse. There you go. So now I'm going to present you what is actually the technical part, and especially the workflow. The main workflow we are following at the moment is like how the complaint is processed. So firstly, the restaurant is the key person who is going to complete and submit the complaint. As Michelle has said, it can be done on the desktop, but also on the mobile app. It can be on the mobile or on tablet. Then, when it's submitted, is automatically the system automatically notify the supplier directly. So we don't have any more people in between to scan and redirect directly the complaint to the right supplier. Everything is automatic now. It depends on the type of risk of the complaint, but we have integrated that into the system. So if you have a type B or C, which is a low level of risk, it will be sent only to the supplier. But if we have a type A, which can be a food safety risk, it's sent directly to the supplier, plus the QA managers, plus the QA markets. Everybody will be in the loop, and it can really work well during a weekend. Then when the supplier receives the notification, it has 5 working days to acknowledge and respond to the complaint. When you do that, usually it's going to accept, so we're going to see just that, but it's also supposed, if he wants, you can reject the complaint. But today we're going to say about accept. When it accepts, also and again, a notification is sent to 2 different stakeholders, so the distribution center and the QA manager both receive that. Firstly, the distribution center will just have to add an information and complete the complaint form with the credit amount value, so nothing else to do about just calculating the credit amount to make a credit note to the restaurant, aligned with the quantity agreed by the supplier. Then the last part will be the QA manager. After that, he will have to review and validate and approve the action plan proposed by the supplier. If we are not agree with that, we can send it back to the supplier. If we agree of it, we accept, and then the complaint is closed. And when the complaint is closed, now we have a notification automatically sent to the restaurant to tell them that the complaint has been reviewed, resolved, and closed. And that it's really a good thing for the restaurant. They have a live tracking. That's a quick example. Yes, that's a quick example of the desktop version. So you have a dashboard. We have 6 different dashboards. This one is the one from the restaurant point of view. But we have a dashboard for suppliers, for QA managers, for distributor centers, for QA markets. So with the right information we need, I would say the key information for each stakeholder. So on this one, on the left side, you have a logo where you can click and you can create your complaint. So a complaint form will be automatically appear. In the middle part, you have widgets, which gives you a view of the complaints year to date, where you can see the open ones, the closed ones, the draft ones, and the total. And on the right side, you have something which is really important for our restaurants, is to follow the credits. So they can see on the bottom part when they have complaint accepted by the supplier without credit notes and the one with credit notes. And you have the total, a total counter on the top about the full amount of credits which have been credited for the year. And on the bottom part, which is the same for every stakeholder, every user have that. It's a table that can summarize the full details of all the log complaints. And you can see at the same time a stage column where it gives you live where the complaint sits in the workflow. So it can tell you if you are awaiting supplier acknowledgement or awaiting QA approval or even complaint closed. So you go on the App Store, so as I was telling, to upload the app. So Avanteam, easy, you go on it, you access with your actual username and password that you can use on your desktop version. Then you will access your dashboard by clicking on the logo, the thing we were seeing before. So you have everything like on the desktop, where to create a complaint, your widget, anything you want. On the second page, you have a complaint report which reviews all the complaints done, and then you will click on the plus to create a complaint form. On the complaint form, you will need to click on different subjects like type, complaint, the list to have pre-populated information. That's the entrance of the delivery note number, so you can put letters, numbers. Then you will have to choose a product code. The product code will be automatically be linked to the right supplier and automatically pre-populated all the bottom information, category, subcategory, supplier, anything like this. You will go on the second page, and with that you will have to complete the production date or BBD, depends on the type of category of the product, then the batch number. So you have the possibility to have numbers or letters. Then after that, you will put the quantity. So manually quantities, you have a pre-populated list of units you can be proposed, can be different from a product to another. After that, you will go to the last page where you have to here identify classification, subclassification of your non-compliance. It will automatically give you a type of risk listed, and then you need to complete the description of your complaint. You have the possibility to take pictures or to go also in the gallery. What we have added in that system, it's mandatory to have 2 minimum pictures to send the complaint. If there is no 2 attachments, it's not able to send. Then you will click on the floppy disk on the top right, and then it will be registered and submitted directly to the supplier you have entered at the beginning. When then you have done that, you will go back, so you have this successful message, and after you go back and you come back and you can see that the number of open complaints has changed from 5 to 6. That was for the mobile app. What I can say, it's really, really useful. What can be done is like a restaurant can start a complaint on the desktop without pictures and add them afterwards on the mobile, finding the draft complaint, add the pictures and send it, do everything on desktop or do everything on mobile. So it's really flexible for the restaurants. So that's the part with Rémi. So just wanted to say that we have started the project in 2019. I was not there at the beginning. Rémi either. No.
Me neither.
So we are, I would say, we are brand new managers on that project. And during Click&Complain project, we have several challenges. So, as you may know, we are QA managers with Michelle. We are not IT people, but we have plenty of ideas, and Rémi was there, and previously Frédéric Saint-Félix was on the project to help us. So one of the challenges was at the beginning, and I was not there, but I think it was really a challenge. It was to build up a workflow with multiple purposes, with different stages, with multiple stakeholders, so you can be a supplier, a distribution center, restaurant, or QA manager, and ensuring you are going to cover all the different possible scenarios. I think we've managed to cover almost of them, but we have noticed that we are missing some still, and we are working on that.
Yeah, indeed. When I jumped in the project like more than 1 year ago, there were still some gaps between what has been done and what was expected by KFC. So the main challenge was to input some agility in the project management without impacting both the planning ahead of us and the initial cost of the project. So we had to decide, we had to analyze, and we had to prioritize what was necessary for the first version of the app. Because we know that today, even if it's go live, we are still a lot of work ahead of us. So yeah, that was one of the most challenging parts.
One of the other one was to have, as you've seen, we are spread in different markets, different countries, different languages, and we wanted to develop just only one unique single system to everybody. So to be able to get the same information, even if it's coming from a restaurant in Spain or a restaurant in Netherlands or a restaurant in France. So the idea was to develop one unique system and can be also adapt to each market specifically with their requirements, because we have not exactly the same products, not exactly the same suppliers, not exactly the same franchisees, never restaurants. So you can imagine every country is different, and we try to make everything in one system.
Yeah, indeed. And Avanteam app just allow us to have to cover several use case scenarios, and just to have for restaurant, for instance, the main purpose of the restaurant is to be able to create quickly a complaint. So I got a dashboard with just a shortcut to create complaints. The supplier, the goal of the supplier is just to check the complaints that he needs to work on. So he has some views, some numbers in which he can follow the the numbers of the complaints and to follow them up. And for the QA manager, it's just to have quick overview of what's going on their category and their country. So we had to address very deeply each use cases for all the user profile we have.
Yes, exactly, Rémi. One of the things about is translation. So that was the big part. So it would be great if everybody was speaking English, but it's not the case. So we had to translate the system in 6 languages, and that's actually 6 languages now, and more will come. And it was the idea to make it accessible and usable by any restaurant and any distributors, local distributors. It's you can imagine that even a French manager in a restaurant doesn't speak really English, so we need to access the system in French. So we have actually English, French, Italian, Spanish, Dutch, and German.
Yeah, translation. That was a big part of the project, especially because we were responsible for the translation of the whole applications, web and mobile. And we didn't just translate it. We didn't just send an Excel file to a translator. We just asked the translator to, of course, translate what we had to do. And we spent days with the translator in a room, one full day for each language, for him to just see what the translation is made in the app, in the context of the app. And during those whole days, we were able to adjust some translation he has made from the Excel file, and with the context of the app, just to have something more precise, more contextualized, in order to deliver something with the highest quality possible for the translations.
Translators, but after our own markets have to review the translation of the translator to be sure it was aligned with KFC perspective. So we had also something which was really important for us and took us really a lot of time, is collecting, implementing, and setting all the data and links into the system. Sometimes people think it's really easy, but it's not. And Rémi really helped us on that.
Yeah, indeed. So to answer that, we implement the application, but we also anticipate the future. And the future means to make the app flexible enough to make the workflow evolve, to make the forms evolve, and most of all, adaptive design, to be able to integrate countries as fast as possible. Because adding countries means adding new products, adding new suppliers, adding new users, translations. So we had to define a procedure, an effective one, in order to be able to be as effective as possible to add new countries in the project.
And for that, when we have implemented the new system, it's like you have translated, but now you need to train the people and how to use the system. And we have done all the user guide ourselves. I've done a lot. I was especially on the French one. And it was really, really time-consuming, but at the end, it's really helpful. So every user guide has been developed for restaurant point of view, for supplier point of view, for DC, for QA. And we have done all the print screens also with the translated page. So that was, if the translation was not right in the system, our user guide was not right. And just everybody has been trained, so it's more than 1,000 users.
Yeah, that's a lot of users, and even more to come, because in 1 month, or 1 month ago, in July?
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, all right. We will double the number of users, so we will go from 1,000 to 2,000. And when we have such high number of users, we have to have the server technical architecture that answers these needs in order to have the best response time and for the users to be happy to use the app, because it's the main point to have some ease to use the app.
One more click.
Yes, one more click. It's just, we're not finished. More users, more new requests, more new development, new countries in 2 weeks, UK, Ireland, Germany, and new languages, Swedish, Danish, etc. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Just before to let the next presentation, just to say thank you very much for Michelle and Emma to be there today and to take some time to prepare the
Mais de rien,
presentation.
merci.
Bye bye, Michelle.
Very much. Au revoir.
Thank you, Michelle.
Speak to you soon.
Bye bye.